What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Wrestling here on Leon the King TV. Thank you thank you. Please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're gonna get into it. Let's talk about it. First of all, tonight we're talking about Scott Hall passed away. It was announced yesterday that Scott Hall was fighting for his life on life support, and he had been on life support for a minute. And supposedly he was taken off life support earlier today, but it was also announced that a couple hours ago he had passed away. So rest in peace to Scott Hall. As we know, Razor Ramon, he was one of the biggest names in WWE and in the World Wrestling Federation. He was a big name in World Wrestling Entertainment. He was a WWE Hall of Famer. So, and even in WrestleMania season, to lose a big name like that, that's kind of big in wrestling. You know, Razor Ramon was popular back in the day. I didn't know too much about him. He was before my era, but obviously he was a big, from what I hear, he was one of the biggest in all of pro wrestling and in WWE. So therefore, um, RIP to Razor Ramon. And, we just send prayers and everything to the family, but RIP to Razor Ramon. Next, we are talking about Kevin Owens challenging Stone Cold at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens wants to invite Stone Cold to an episode of the KO show at WrestleMania. Now, my thoughts on this is I honestly don't want to see, and I don't care what you think, but I honestly don't want to see a 57-year-old Stone Cold trying to wrestle at WrestleMania. Now, Kevin Owens is a great competitor, and Stone Cold is one of the biggest names, WWE Hall of Famer, legend in all pro wrestling, and one of the all-time greats. Even in the Attitude Era back in the 90s, in the Attitude Era, Stone Cold was one of the biggest names in the Attitude Era. He had matches with Undertaker, he had matches with The Rock, he had matches with Mankind. The name goes on and on. Stone Cold Steve Austin was one of the greatest in all of pro wrestling. But my thing is, at the age he's at, I don't know if I want to see a 57-year-old Stone Cold get in the ring with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is a great athlete. I love when he debuted back in 2015, and he was the former NXT champion. You look at, Kevin Owens is a former NXT champion. He's competed in NXT. He got called up to the main roster in 2015. He feuded with John Cena. So I feel like, therefore, Kevin Owens is a big name. Do I want to see him face a big name like Stone Cold? I honestly don't. Him facing Steve Austin is something I don't want to see, honestly speaking. But I think that it's one of those matches that could turn out to be good. I think that if you were going to do Stone Cold and Kevin Owens, there's obviously a better way of doing it. They could have booked it, the actual storyline around it, and took it more seriously. He just randomly on Raw a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, challenges Stone Cold to a match to come to WrestleMania on the KO show. I don't know if this is a segment, a promo, or just a match. But, at WrestleMania, I think you'd rather see it as a match. But I don't know. It's very odd. It's very weird. It's very random to me. But I just feel there were better ways. They obviously could have did KO and Stone Cold at Mania. Next, I wanted to talk about, as we know, the wife of Booker T, Queen Sharmell, who was on SmackDown years ago in the Ruthless Aggression era. Sharmell Huffman will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Sharmell's getting the Hall of Fame induction this year. And congratulations to Sharmell. As you know, she's the wife of Booker T. She's also was his manager during the Ruthless Aggression era. She was always ringside as matches when Booker would compete on SmackDown. So therefore, I'm actually not surprised about this. I think it's kind of cool thing. I'm a little shocked, but not too surprised. I'm actually happy for seeing Sharmell get a Hall of Fame induction. So that's pretty good. So congratulations to Sharmell. WWE 2K22 dropped last week. It was released, and therefore everybody got their pre-orders. I didn't get my pre. I didn't pre-order. I didn't even pick it up, but therefore it's on PS4, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S, and PC. And yeah, so it's one of those. It's the return. A year ago, they canceled WWE 2K21, and we got WWE 2K Battlegrounds, which was crap. Fun, but crap. Um, so they kind of gave us something to hold off until we got another installment of 2K, the 2K franchise. So now we're back. It's back better than ever. WWE 2K22. New engine, new graphics, new everything. Um, it's back. So, you know, they have a new engine. They got new graphics. The engine looks good. Um, for the most part, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it. Uh, there also have been, for the most part, positive reviews about the gameplay. Uh, I see a lot of people like on TikTok streaming it, on Twitch, streaming on YouTube, have been doing a lot of streaming of the game. So I feel like at some point I'm gonna definitely get the game and play it for myself. But I'm actually excited for this game. The hype around it is crazy. So I'm definitely gonna be on that 2K22. Um, Next, I want to talk about. There was also news and rumors lately that broke around. Don't know how true it is. I believe it's very true, but there have been rumors going around that EA Sports will be developing the next WWE game, and therefore WWE 2K will be no more, and it will be officially WWE developed by EA. Now, I personally feel like this is a good move. I'm a big gamer. I think that this is a good move because EA has obviously done the UFC games. They recently released UFC 4 about a couple years ago, and UFC 4 had great gameplay. The graphics were amazing. The gameplay is amazing. I enjoy playing it myself. And I've always said for a while now that EA should really use similar engine like the UFC games in WWE games. EA developing WWE will be a huge deal in my opinion. And I think that the graphics and the gameplay and the engine in the game will be sick. If EA does WWE, they will have similar engines to UFC. And I think that would be dope. So I hope it's true. If 2K22 is the last WWE game of the 2K franchise, then I'm kind of fine with it. Seeing another developer take their twist on it and what their take is on the WWE game should be like. EA is great with sports games, so I would love to see what they do with WWE. But yeah, there's rumors going around that EA could be developing WWE 2K. So 2K22 could be the last of the WWE game franchise. And then they could do WWE by EA. That would be cool with me. If not, either way, I'm fine. If you get 2K23 next year, we get 2K23. If we get WWE developed by EA, I'm fine with that too. Nah, 2K22 didn't crash me. Nope, I didn't even have the game yet. What's up, Big O? And thank you for coming in the stream, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. But thank you for coming into the stream, man. Appreciate it. Next, I want to talk about RK Bro facing the Hurt Business. Obviously, RK Bro last week won the Raw Tag Team Championship titles in a triple threat tag team match against the team of Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Alpha Academy. RK Bro won the tag titles. Yes, Scott Hall passed away. Rest in peace. Um, RK Bro are the new tag team championship champions right now. Personally, I feel like I was more the kind of person who was ready to see Orton turn on Riddle and therefore starting a feud against Riddle at WrestleMania and having a match and breaking RK Bro up. I'm not a big fan of RK Bro. I think the tag team is just washed up. I think it's about time they break them up. It's about time we take Randy Orton more seriously. I'd rather see Randy Orton as heel than being a goofy character. I think that Orton should never be a goofy character. Orton should always and forever be as serious. Should be taken seriously as a serious competitor in WWE. So therefore, you book Randy Orton serious, but you make him look like a joke when you tag team him with Matt Riddle. He shouldn't be teaming with Riddle, you know. So if this is the man that faced Drew McIntyre in Hell in a Cell back in 2020, then therefore, you know, we shouldn't see um, Matt Riddle, you know, in a match where he's tag team champion. I think that Randy Orton is better off as a solo competitor or tag teaming with somebody else, but not Riddle. But I was all for booking it where Randy Orton RKO's Matt Riddle, turns on Riddle, goes back to turning heel, and therefore we get a match at WrestleMania between Riddle and Orton. That was what I want to see happen. Um, so yeah, I think that Orton should be heel. Um, Riddle should be looked at as a good guy, but then they should kind of and no, you know, Riddle is a great in the ring. He's very talented. He's very athletic. I've seen his matches, but I think that Orton is somebody who she should have had a match with at Mania. So we have Bianca Belair versus Doudrop in Raw. Um, Doudrop just hits Bianca Belair with a headbutt. Um, I want to talk about Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair is one of the best female wrestlers in all of pro wrestling today. She made history last year at WrestleMania 37, where she main evented the first African American, two African American women finally main event at WrestleMania. Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair at the main event last year, and they made history as the first two African American women to ever main event at WrestleMania. So I'm very proud to see that. Um, that's very inspiring. That's very exciting to see. Bianca's very athletic. She's talented. She's a star. Personally, for me, I want to see more character come out of her. I want to see her get put in more intense matches. I want to see her get put in Hell in the Cells, ladder matches, table matches. I want to see them use her athletic ability and bring more out of her. I think that she could have more matches. I get that her gimmick and her character is all cute, but I think it's better to see them bring the extreme side out of her and see what they could do in certain matches. I want to see more personally out of her, but that's my opinion. But she's great. Not judging her at all. I think she's perfect. She's great in the ring. She's talented. Her and Sasha Banks put on a very entertaining match last year at Mania 37. I thought they put on a great match. So Bianca Belair is great, in my opinion. I want to talk about next what would make WWE better. I am a believer that what would make WWE better really is, and I always talk about it here on the show, on the channel, is its creativity. If you really look at the last 12 years or 10 years of WWE, 11, maybe 8, 9 years of WWE, there's been a lack of creativity, a huge lack of creativity in the writing, in the promos, the segments, the gimmicks, the matches. There's been a lack of creativity, obviously. And therefore, you know, we got gimmicks like the Fiend Bray Wyatt, the Firefly Funhouse, Alexa Bliss as an evil Alexa Bliss. So there's been gimmicks that we got. You think about creativity, you definitely think about the gimmicks, you think about the promos, like back in the Attitude Era when Undertaker was the Ministry of Darkness. Think about factions like the Nexus, the Shield. WWE have the Fiend. So over the years, many years, WWE has been very creative, but there's also been a big lack at the same time. Um, Even in the PG era, when WWE went PG after it went TV 14, there was a lack of creativity at that point. In the current era of WWE, there's a lack of creativity. You know, certain guys not getting pushes, certain guys on the roster not being used on Raw and SmackDown. Guys from NXT getting called up and not getting pushes or main events. So it's just at a point where they're kind of hurting right now in their creativity, you know. So that's how I feel about WWE's creativity. We need a gimmick. We need a new. We need a new stable, a new faction. We need something that can pop and make fans freak out and be like, I'm a hardcore fan again. I'm a hardcore fan of WWE and all wrestling, but I'm also a big fan of the creativity inside it as well. And that kind of draws you. The entertainment of WWE and the athleticism of it draws to me. But I think it's the creativity that's lacking and kind of affects the entertainment around it. Bianca Belair won against Doudrop. Now she's being attacked by Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch has a steel chair. And she bangs Bianca's head on the steel chair. Becky Lynch is great too. Wow. Becky Lynch says, the hair bitch. We hope Big E recovers from his neck injury. We hope all is well. Um, Last week on SmackDown, Brock Lesnar chased Paul Heyman out of the arena. So that segment happened. We also got Charlotte and Ronda Rousey in a backstage brawl. Charlotte winds up defeating Rousey in a backstage brawl and suplexes her on top of a car. So we had a little brawl between those two at the ending of SmackDown last week, and they have a match at WrestleMania 38, as we know, for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And SmackDown Women's title will be on the line against the two. So that should be an interesting match. A match I don't really care for because we've seen it, but it's a match that will be pretty good. Arcade Bro has a celebration on Raw tonight. They get interrupted by the Street Profits um, against the current Raw Tag Team Champions, Arcade Bro. Seems like they want to have challenge Arcade Bro for the Raw Tag Team titles at WrestleMania 38. What it's shaping up to be, seems like. So therefore, This was another episode of Let's Talk Wrestling. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will be going live later on tonight. Later on tonight, I will be going live for another episode of Let's Talk Wrestling. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you later on tonight. Thank you.